Welcome back to Tax Hacks with Alli. I'm Alli, your host and tax professional. Today I want to talk to you about what happens when you haven't filed your tax returns. So every American U.S. citizen who is earning money and has made over $400 as a self-employed person, or $3,500, it goes up for inflation a little bit each year, $3,650 in wages or other income, is required to file a tax return. And so if you've not filed a tax return, you probably should. We want to get you up to date. And what happens with a lot of people is when they have missed filing a tax return, they become a little bit paralyzed, and definitely a big weight is on their shoulders that I've got past tax returns, and it kind of piles up because you miss one and then maybe you miss another one. And so usually when I help people with past due tax returns, it's multiple returns. It's 2 or 3 tax returns. Every so often it's just one, last year's, and then we get caught up and get on it for the current year. But it happens a lot when you've had an unexpected thing happen. I had one lady come in who had 10 years of tax returns that she needed to file. And it was because she was in a plane crash and she had some recovery to do, and she got a few years behind, and then she couldn't get out from under it to get up to speed. And so we got her up to speed, and that was really relieving for her to get those tax returns filed. So when you've gotten behind on your taxes and you don't really know where to start, one of the best ways to start is to get your records from IRS, because if you're behind on your taxes, the chances are you've had some sort of disruption in your life, whether it be a plane crash or an unexpected move or the death of a spouse or something kind of happened, loss of a job, I don't know. Things happen and you kind of got off track with stuff. So we need to get your records together, have a good starting place. So you can go on to irs.gov and set up an online account where you can get your transcripts. That's what they're called, your transcripts. And inside your transcripts, it'll say if you owe anything, if you've filed the return, and you can get something called wage and income. And that's going to be a record of anything IRS received on your behalf for wages and income. And that's a really helpful place to start, because that way you can be sure that you've got the information that IRS has. So, if you don't remember, I had that part-time job over Christmas, or oh yeah, that one job only lasted a couple months, or that employer never sent that W-2 to me. I didn't realize I got a 1099 from that customer. It went to the wrong address. There's a variety of reasons why you might not have the full picture of everything that you received in that year. So you want to go ahead and get the wage and income information from your transcripts for all the years that are missing that you need to file for. So start there and compile your income. That's going to be a great place to start. And then depending on the type of income you have, if it's W-2 income, then it's pretty much there. It's going to tell you how much income you had, who the employer was, and how much in federal withholding you've had. On the transcripts, you're also going to see if there was any estimated tax payments made. And if you know, then you know about estimated tax payments. Those are prepayments you make throughout the year towards your taxes. And so if you send any of those in for a year, they're going to be on there. Also, if one of those got put to the wrong year, that'll be in there too. I mean, you'll see what year it applied to, and that'll tell you where it's sitting, whether or not that's what you intended. So you want to get that information about your income, the withholding that was done. There's also going to be information in there about student loan interest. That's a deduction. Mortgage interest. That's a deduction, as well as IRA contributions. Those are a deduction. So you're going to have a kind of and student tuition. So those are all deductions that might apply to your taxes and help reduce what you're going to owe on the tax return, or help build up your refund. And so if you have a refund coming to you, you have 3 years from the original due date to file and get that refund. So it's crucial you don't wait too long. If they owe you money, you have 3 years to get it from them. But if you owe them money, they have forever to get it from you. So you want to be sure you file that tax return as soon as possible, especially if you think you might get a refund. So get those documents together. do the best you can to reconstruct things. As long as you have what IRS has for you, then you're going to be okay as far as not missing anything or getting some corrections back on that tax return once you file it. If you compile your tax return and IRS owes you, or you're even, you don't owe anything, then it's not considered a late tax return. So that's pretty cool. Even though you might be 3 years late, they're not going to ding you with a late tax return. But if you owe even $1, you're going to have a late tax return and penalties and interest and late filing fees. So it's going to pile up. Don't be too intimidated by that. Just get the tax returns filed. And then when the bills come, work with IRS to do a payment plan. You'll take all the years together and anything you owe on all those years, and you will do one payment plan that includes all those years together. So if that was the reason you weren't filing, is because you thought you were going to owe and you end up due owing, go ahead and get it filed and get a payment plan as soon as possible. While you're on the phone with them to get that payment plan, ask them to remove some penalties and interest if they're able to. They have a first-time penalty abatement program where they might be able to remove some penalties and interest. So I hope this is helpful. You want to go online, set up that account, get your transcripts, start with your wage and income for each year that you're missing, get those tax returns filed, and hopefully get some refunds on their way to you. All right, well, we'll see you next time for some more tax information.